All right, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for sticking with me. I don't know what's going on with my channel right now, but clearly I'm doing something wrong. So thanks for sticking around. But we're going to talk today about Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. This is a reread for me. I read this, I think, when I was 19 or 20. So I'm in my 40s now. So it's been a hot minute, and it is a completely different experience for me reading this again. Um, I got some squirrels over here going bananas. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm reading this again, middle-aged. When I read it when I was like in my late teens or early 20s, I didn't really connect with the story because the two protagonists, well, I guess there's three protagonists. We've got two boys that are 14. We've got Will Holloway and his good buddy Jim Nightshade. And they were both born like a minute apart. One of them was born on October 30th, Will, 1 minute before midnight on Halloween, and the other was born, Jim Nightshade was born 1 minute afterwards. They're kind of opposite personalities of each other in a way, but they're best of friends. Will's father, Charles, is 54 years old and he works as a janitor at the town library. Now, this is the second of the Greentown novels. The first Greentown novel set in Greentown, Illinois, was Dandelion Wine. That takes place in summer. This is an autumn story. It takes place in the fall. It's set in October. I think the story opens up on October 24th, if I'm not mistaken, with this Cougar and Dark's Pandemonium Shadow Show, which is a carnival, and it comes to Greentown, and it's a dark carnival. So I wouldn't call this horror. I would really say that this is like dark fantasy. And this carnival taps into the fears and the desires of the local town people. And it's like a supernatural, if you will, carnival. Um, Cougar and Dark are the two guys that run the show. Cougar is not as important, I don't think. Mr. Dark seems to be the main antagonist of the story. Oh, well, he is the main antagonist, although there's others. You've got the Dust Witch. There's a dwarf in the show, a skeleton man. But Mr. Dark is like the main guy. And he's also known as the Illustrated Man because he's all tattooed up, but he wears like a top hat and a suit and whatnot. But very interesting story. There's fantastical elements dealing with a mirror maze. There's a fantastical element with a carousel that can kind of manipulate time. So I would say of all of Ray Bradbury's works that I've read, this is probably his best. And I love his work. I thought Dandelion Wine was excellent, but I think this probably gets a slight edge over Dandelion Wine as like my new favorite. Maybe if I read all these books again in 10 years, it'll change. But I'd say if you're going to read one Ray Bradbury book, this is probably the one. It was fantastic. And I don't want to just give a shout out, it was great, but so many people have reviewed this book already that it's hard for me to come up with something unique. So I'll just say kind of my pluses, the things I really liked about it. I love Ray Bradbury's prose. Now, I know for a lot of people, they don't like it. His prose is a turnoff because it's almost poetic. It's what you call purple prose. It's very flowery. I could read you an excerpt. Let me see if I can find something kind of give you a flavor of what this book sounds like or how it reads. All right, here's from chapter 36. I'm just randomly picking something. So it says, The dwarf, burying his demented and wildly lighted eyes, made his way south on Main Street. Stopping suddenly, he developed a film strip in his head, scanned it, bleated, and blundered back through the forest of legs to reach for and pull the illustrated man down where a whisper was as good as a shout. Mr. Dark listened, then fled, leaving the dwarf far behind. Reaching the cigar store Indian, the illustrated man sank to his knees. Clutching the steel lattice grill, he peered down in the pit. Below lay yellow newspapers, wilted candy wrappers, burnt cigars, and gum. So he's looking down into the drainage grate where these two boys were at. And these are the things that he's seen down there. So Mr. Dark's cry was muffled fury. Lose something? Mr. Teatley blinked over his counter. The illustrated man clenched the grate, nodding once. I clean under the grate once a month for the money, said Mr. Teatley. How much you lose? Dime? Quarter? $half? Bing! The illustrated man glared up. In the cash register windows, a small red fire sign jumped high. No sale. So that's the entirety of chapter 36. And I mean, I would read more, but I don't want to give too much of the book away in case you are planning on reading it, because I don't want to spoil it for you. But my favorite scene in the book, or my favorite portion of the book, was the confrontation between Charles Holloway, Will's father, and the illustrated man, Mr. Dark, when Mr. Dark comes to the library and confronts him because he's looking for the boys. That stuff is fantastic. The whole conversation that they have with each other there is the stuff of nightmares. It was really great. Primal taps into human fears. Not that this book is scary. I think it might be scary for children, but as an adult, I think the book really, I don't know. I've heard Ray Bradbury described as American Gothic. I really like this a lot. I know that sounds, I really like this book a lot, but that's me. I really like thumbs up, fantastic. Ray Bradbury is an American treasure. I think the influence that this story has had on other authors is important. That's why you should read this. Clive Barker has cited this as an influence. In fact, there's a character in The Freak Show. It's just one mention of the Pinhead. So I'm like, whoa, did he get Pinhead from this? And then I think Pennywise the Clown, Stephen King, clearly this was an influence because the way that he functions, it's kind of the same way that this carnival, I would almost call this carnival like a bunch of psychic vampires feeding off of dark emotion and dark energy. So yeah, this is a thumbs up from me. Definitely check this out. I think it's a really, really cool story, and I really enjoyed it a lot. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you made it to the end, leave me a comment. Have you read this? What do you think about it? Have a wonderful day.